I am live.
Doesn't look like it.
Oh, I think I gotta drag this over into. Oops. How do I share that tab?
You have to highlight the address of YouTube. You have to highlight that and then put it on your no, the whole thing. You didn't do the whole thing. Put it back over there. Take it over there. Make it big.
Make it big. Why?
Now highlight the whole address. Oh, you did.
I
Okay,
did
that
already.
was portion of it. Okay. And then copy. And then you can paste it on your comments. Control V.
No, that's not it.
Oh.
Share screen. There we go. Okay. All right, there we go. Your entire screen.
You're live now.
All right. What's going on, guys?
Share.
Okay, hold on one second. I gotta go there. Oh, let's see. I want to make sure I was on the right one. Hang on one second here. Okay. Share screen.
Now share.
There we go. Ah, okay.
You want to make him bigger.
Can I? Okay, got it. Yeah, I will. Okay. Fantastic. How's everybody tonight? What's up, Joey? How you doing? You're here to right? Sure, Joey. Here to cuss and drink so much. Yeah, right. How is everybody doing tonight? What's up, Michael Holland? Roger from Texas. What's going on, Gil? How you doing, brother? Fantastic. Well, let's see here. So, Gil, I'm playing with my screens here a little bit. We get a few more people in here. I got a little video for everybody to check out tonight that I think everybody will find really interesting. It's a quick little video. What was I gonna do?
Make him big, and you want.
Oh no, I know what I want to do. No, that's not. I wanted to do. There we go. That's what I want to do because I want to be able to. Oh, I know what it was. My channel. Stand by, everybody. I am still figuring out. I wonder.
Okay, I'm gonna take mine back, right?
Okay. Bye. Looking at trying to find my analytics here. I wonder, how do I see analytics? Oh, there we go. Got it. All right, got it. All right, so I'm playing with StreamYard tonight. You're here to talk about how Idaho is great right now. Well, hey, you want to know something fun? I have a pastor friend of mine I went to college with who has been living, right? He's been living in Kentucky. He went to school out there, has his master's degree. The guy has forgotten more about the Bible and theology than I'll ever know. And they are ready to move out of Kentucky. And he just happened to say, yeah, we're looking seriously at North Idaho. I'm like, what? So I called him and like, what are you talking about? So he is ready to get the heck out of Kentucky and get up to North Idaho. His wife's an RN, so she's actually applying for nursing positions in North Idaho. And if everything works out properly, they may be renting our log home from us until they get settled in up there and find their own place. So, because we're not going to be up there for eight to 9 months next spring, once the mud season is. So anyway, interesting news there, guys. It's just amazing how many people are going to North Idaho. And I've been watching, I think I talked about this last week, but this week especially, I have been watching so many videos about the real estate prices up there. It's just absolutely insane. So let's see here. So I'm trying to figure out how to hey, what's going on? Mimsy's Garden is in the house. Yoo-hoo! Right on. Hey, I got a fantastic video to show you, and I was hoping you guys would pop in. And I'm not going to go super long tonight. I know it's Father's Day, but happy Father's Day to all of you fathers there. Gil, I know you are. Terry, I know you are. And let's see here. Who else we got in here? Joey, I know you're a father, right? Who else we got in here? I know that Roger, you're a father. Michael Holland, you're just a kid. No, I'm just kidding. He's my son's friend, about my son's age. So I've got a so Gil, I'm following in your footsteps, Gil, with Happy Not the Mama Day. This is for sure. I guess I could show you guys what I should I brag a little bit? I'm gonna brag a little bit. My family bought me for Father's Day today. Yeah, they did. They went there. So my son and I had a hero. We'd had a hero. Oh gosh, one of the early ones. Where is that thing? There it is. One of the early GoPros, Hero 4. We've had this thing forever, and anyway, that thing gave out years ago. And then Brandon, what's up, dude? What is up? Thank you, brother. Thank you very much. Holy smokes! Wow, unbelievable. That's a way. Fireworks are going off outside. No joke. Perfect timing. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for that. I got to return the favor one of these days. Get on. You got to do some more lives there, Brandon. Well, thank you for that. I feel like it's a very special father today. We had ribs and all that good stuff, and gosh, yeah, thank you very much. Had a great day today with the family. Had both my kids home. My daughter came all the way back from Arizona. She was out there with a wedding. She came home this afternoon, or actually, it was probably lunchtime. I think she got back. My son got off work at about 2 o'clock. He came home. He's back to work. Working a double shift today, but he came home and we had ribs and beans off the vine and fresh. I mean, there's nothing better than fresh veggies right out of the garden, right onto the table, man. Oh man. But it was a good meal today. So yes, happy Father's Day to all you guys. Happy Father's Day to you, Brandon. Thank you for that. So gosh, guys, we got a fun little we got something fun to talk about tonight. I was hoping to get a few more people in here because I really wanted people to see this video. This was a fantastic video out of Prager University. Maybe we'll wait a few more minutes, see if we can get a couple more people in here. Hey, Brett, cool, excellent. Got my peeps in the house. I got a great video to share with you too, Brett. Happy Father's Day to you, sir. We spent this morning. We actually got up really early and went out and had a church service at Pastor Jack Hibbs in at Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills. Fantastic, and no more social distancing. 7:15 service. Mostly old people. I mean, I'm old. I know you guys all are going to say I'm old. Gil, you're older. But we're talking about people in their 70s and 80s. That's the service they go to, is a 7:15 service, and so they're early risers, and we had a great time. But oh, my wifey, what a stinker! Where are you, honey? Is she outside? Where'd she go? She's watching from afar somewhere. Here's our new shirt, guys, for our new Idaho meetup coming up next Saturday. We have our YouTube meet and greet. We've got 10 channels showing up to this meet and greet, guys. We're going to go live. I will not be live next Sunday for the next 2 Sundays, but next Saturday, I will go live for at least a little while and show you guys what's going on. And then you guys can check out the meet and greet. We've got 10 channels showing up. We have confirmation that the Souzes won't make it. They've got family in town. North Country Off Grid has another event that they're actually going to be part of, and so they're not going to make it. But we have some big channels coming. We have 2 new channels from last year that we have discovered. We have Connie from JNC's Oregon Homestead. They are traveling all the way from, I think it's Portland, Oregon, or Salem, Oregon, somewhere over there. And they are coming over to the meet and greet. So it is really cool. So, hey, Heaven's Gates Cherry Farm, thanks for coming in. You're not a father yet, Brandon? Okay. I wasn't sure. Not that you know of. I hear you. I only have 2 kids that I know of. That's horrible to say. But I know, Gil. Wish you could make it as well. That's a long ways for you guys to travel. So that's okay. There's plenty more. We're going to have this every year. Next year, it's going to be pretty big. I had, let's see, when did I talk to you? So I talked to all you guys last Sunday. Great news. Actually, you know what? I told Gil, because I went into Gil's live stream on, was it Wednesday, Gil? Or was it your Tuesday night live stream? I forget which one it was. But so we have one of our farms up there. One of our homesteads is Imagineacre Wood. That's Dave Reese and his beautiful family, and he's raising yaks for meat, as well as he has a couple dairy goats and whatnot. And he was like, "Hey, man, I want to bring a baby yak calf to the meetup, as well as a milk goat. Real gentle. The kids will love it. I've got these, quick, lightweight cattle fences, 4 pieces, 10 by 10. It's a quick, easy setup and tear down." I'm like, okay, well, let me double check, see what's up. Am I sure about that? What did I say, honey? Well, I must have said something. I am sure about everything I'm saying until you said that. Honey, where are you? What are you doing? She's here at the house somewhere. Is she out riding? She was going to go take Marley for a bike ride, so she's probably running around she's probably driving her bike, riding her bike, holding Marley on a leash, and responding. You're not supposed to be writing and texting at the same time, honey. You need to focus. I can't afford to lose you or have you fall. All right, so where was I? Squirrel. Oh yeah. So Dave Reese wants to bring animals to our meetup. I was able to confirm with Messy's Burgers, who's a fantastic burger joint. He's bringing his food truck to the meetup. So we got a food truck with great stuff going to be there. I told you guys about that last week. But as far as the animals were concerned, they have the city of Athol ordinance prohibits animals in the city park. Unless it's part of a dog show or an animal show or something that's been, not commissioned. Anyway, it's something that they've already approved of. So I called up the city, and there's a fantastic lady named Lori there. She goes, well, you can always ask permission. She says, but we're running out of time. City council meeting is tonight. Or I'm sorry, I think I called her Monday. She said, yeah, we can. It's going to be tomorrow night. So I said, okay, well, let's give it a try. And I couldn't obviously go up there, 1,300 miles away. Couldn't attend Athol City Council's meeting. But I said, there's no way I'm going to be able to do that unless you allow me to call in or do a video, a Skype or something. She goes, well, as a matter of fact, we're still doing all of our city council meetings through Zoom. So absolutely, it's possible. I'm like, well, right on. So she sent me the information. You know what? There it is. Actually, it's kind of waterlogged. I had my cup on it. But City of Athol, regular city council meeting. There was the agenda right there. And I was number 3 on the agenda. So I joined the Athol City Council meeting by Zoom. And when my issue came up, and they were fantastically, wonderfully nice people, and they said, yeah, we'll go ahead and approve that and amend our ordinance to allow you to bring 2 animals. So fantastic, guys. We're going to have a little petting zoo for the kids at the meetup. It's going to be a great time. So, all right, I want to make sure. Hi, Lori Jean. Thanks for popping in. Thank you. Fantastic. So great news. That's going to be next Saturday. We are leaving this Wednesday. Man, it's crazy when it gets down to it, and all of a sudden you realize how many things that you've got to pack. How are you doing, Lori Jean? Thanks for coming in. The time's going to go by so fast. We're ready to go so bad. The kids are both, they're coming. Danae has an in-person meeting interview for a nursing position Wednesday morning. Nathan is doing his cross country nighttime with his instructor Tuesday night, and then he solos cross country all the way to Carlsbad on Wednesday morning. And then we all pack up and leave for Idaho. So Wednesday is an insanely packed day for our whole family. So at least now I can capture it all on a GoPro, right? 8K. I think these things do 8K, but or no, 4K. 4K, 12 megapixels, 60 frames per second. These things are insane. Didn't expect to get that. Anyway, so guys, let's roll into it. I got a fun little topic. I want to play a video here and have you guys watch this video. It's a quick little, I don't know, I think it's like a 5 or 6 minute little video from the pastor of the church that we are going to. They do not shy away from culture, politics, society, anything. They don't shy away from any of it. And the fact that they do talk about, they do not endorse candidates because that is forbidden. But they do talk about politics and whatnot, and it is legal regardless of what people say. Oh, you know, separation of church and state. Well, you know, anyway, we can talk about that another time. But let's talk about masculinity today, guys. That was the whole topic of today's sermon. Was men and masculinity and Father's Day and boys and all this kind of stuff. So without further ado, let me try to share my screen here. Okay, I'm going to share a screen, and it is going to be this one. And here we go. Let's make that a little bigger. All right, guys, I'm going to hit play on this thing. This is Pastor Jack Hibbs from Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills, out here in California. It's about 20 minutes from us. And hey, Ron, what's happening, brother? Yes. You know what, Ron? It's funny that you said that. Yes, it's going to be a petting zoo for the adults as well. Share with sound. Thank you, Brett, for that. Share with sound. Let's see. StreamYard is sharing my screen. Okay. Okay, let me make sure I share. Okay, so you guys let me know if this is going to go or not. Okay, let me see here. Okay, here we go.
Rape, murder, war. They all have one thing in common. Men.
Can you guys hear that okay?
Violence, ambition, unchecked by conscience, all the stuff of toxic masculinity, right? And the solution is obvious. Make men less toxic. Make men less masculine. Make men more like women. But I'm here to tell you that that way of thinking is not only wrong, it's dangerous. Here's why.
You hear it through the mic. Okay.
Women, you don't get less toxic masculinity. You get more. Why? Because bad men don't become good when they stop being men. They become good when they stop being bad. Aggression, violence, and unbridled ambition can't be eliminated from the male psyche. They can only be harnessed. And when they are harnessed, they are tools for good, not for harm. The same masculine traits that bring destruction also defeat tyranny. The traits that foster greed also build economies. The traits that drive men to take foolish risks also drive men to take heroic risks. The answer to toxic masculinity isn't less masculinity. It's better masculinity. And we know what that looks like. It's a young man opening the door for a girl on their first date. It's a father working long hours to provide for his family. It's a soldier risking his life to defend his country. The growing problem in today's society isn't that men are too masculine. It's that they're not masculine enough. When men embrace their masculinity in a way that is healthy and productive, they are leaders, warriors, and heroes. When they deny their masculinity, they run away from responsibilities, leaving destruction and despair in their wake. The consequences can be seen everywhere. 1 in 4 fathers now lives apart from his children. And children who grew up without a dad are generally more depressed than their peers who have a mother and a father. They are at far greater risk for incarceration, teen pregnancy, and poverty. 71% of high school dropouts are fatherless. Of all the rocks upon which we build our lives, family is the most important. And we are called to recognize and honor how critical every father is to that foundation.
I am too, Lori.
That was said by then Senator Barack Obama in 2008. If we are honest with ourselves, he went on, we'll admit that too many fathers are missing from too many lives and too many homes. As much as we try to deny the need for real masculine strength in society, there's no denying its necessity. Healthy families and strong communities depend on the leadership and bravery of good men. Yet, the current trend is to feminize young men in the hopes of achieving some utopian notion of equality and peace. And it starts at the earliest ages. In the school classroom, boys are invariably the problem. On the playground, aggressive games like dodgeball have long been banished. We tell young men that their intrinsic desire to compete is wrong. Everybody gets a trophy. Don't run up the score. This anti-male tilt continues on through higher education and into the workplace. It has created millions of tentative men, unhappy women, and confused boys and girls. Here's a secret that every woman knows. Women want real men. Men they can count on and, yes, look up to. No amount of feminist theory will change that. I don't know any woman at any age who is attracted to a passive man who looks to her to be his provider, protector, and leader. Every woman I know wants a strong, responsible man. That's not a consequence of a social construct or cultural pressure. It's innate. The devaluation of masculinity won't end well because feminine passive men don't stop evil. Passive men don't defend, protect, or provide. Passive men don't lead. Passive men don't do the things we have always needed men to do for society to thrive. In his book, The Abolition of Man, English social philosopher C.S. Lewis writes about this problem. He describes the tension between cerebral man and visceral man. By his intellect, Lewis explains, man is mere spirit, and by his appetite, mere animal. We need both. Take away one, and you're left with a man who's either weak or wicked. And in a world of wickedness, weak men are nothing more than enablers of wicked men. Rape, murder, war. They all have two things in common. Bad men who do the raping, murdering, and warring, and weak men who won't stop them. We need good men who will. It's not masculinity that's toxic, it's the lack of it. I'm Ali Stuckey for Prager University.
That's powerful stuff. That's powerful.
There you go, guys. What do you guys think of that? Chris, what's happening? A re-education video? I know, guys, I'm preaching to the choir on this. I know that all of you people that I know. Kathy, how are you? I know that all of you folks are about my age, a few years young. Well, Chris from Barn and Off Grid, I know he's the baby in here. What are you, 27, Chris? Just kidding. No, we had Michael Holton in here. He's only the 20-year-old in here. Holland, that's right. He's the 20-year-old in here. So I know, all you guys are basically my age, and so we've grown up with that tradition, with that type of upbringing, that kind of, most of you guys have a religious background. I know I was brought up in a Christian home, and and so having that kind of a service this morning, it makes you as a father think about what kind of a job have I done with my kids? What kind of a job? What kind of have kids have I turned out? And I'm going to push back on myself tonight, you guys. And I'm going to tell you why, and this is why I wanted to play that for everybody. And I had posted I made a post, and let's see, let me read that post for you guys. So on my post on Facebook, I had put out there talking about supposedly the Zoomers, my kids' age. Supposedly all those kids on TikTok, they reserved a whole bunch of tickets online, and made the Trump rally only half attended last night. And so I was making this comment about, well, if this is true, if a bunch of kids actually. I thought you had the volume down. The Zoomers supposedly reserved a bunch of tickets and made the Trump rally only half attended last night. So I thought, well, gosh, if that's true, what kind of kids are these, and who raised them? That was my question, right? Oh, Patty's in the house. Hi, Patty. Thank you for coming in. Anybody new in here? Okay, good. So I had made this post about on Father's Day that I am a proud father of two bright, intelligent, conservative kids who follow Jesus. They've learned to be critical thinkers. I'm very proud that they haven't followed their peers that are dressing in black and rioting and looting in the streets mindlessly, like these Antifa kids. Most of the Antifa kids out there, they're a bunch of white kids. They're not tearing down history. They're not out there tearing down statues of our history of our country. They're not falling for the latest hype. The lack of critical thinking in some of these generations is breathtaking. I'm proud today, and I'm proud of my kids. And that was my post today. And it takes, and we have this culture of the masculinity, especially when it comes to our sons. And we have this culture where they are emasculating the boys out there. We have, lots of. We're not even going to go into the rabbit hole with the whole LGBTQ thing. Okay, I'm not going to go down that road. But talking about men that aren't afraid to take a leadership role and afraid to stand up and protect their families and protect what's theirs and protect what's right and stand up for what's right. We see that down up in Idaho. Can't wait to get up there. We see all kinds of guys, and no matter what the liberals and leftists and the media want to portray what's going on up in Idaho, there's a bunch of men up there. A lot of them are godly men that were protecting businesses from rioters and looters up there. And they were portrayed as these, horrible white anarchists. I'm sorry, but they weren't. I know some of them personally and I've talked to them. I know who they are. And they were there to protect people. And they were protecting all of the white kids that were out there protesting peacefully, because there were these other people, Antifa types, that were coming in to try and stir things up and hijack a peaceful protest. And I'm all about equal rights and everything, not a racist bone enemy. And there is nothing wrong with our First Amendment right to protest. Okay, so I know what these real men were doing up there, and they were doing what they felt was right, and they were standing up for what was right. So I did have somebody respond back on my post though, and it was a great response to what I had posted, and it made me think again, because I had specifically said that my kids were conservative and they followed Jesus. And I had and I'm gonna say his name. I'll give you his first name. Anna, you actually responded today too. Thank you for that. Anna from Mimsy's Garden. You guys know who Anna is. What's up, Jeremy? How you doing, brother? There's one of the people I was just talking about. A godly conservative man. Jeremy Lawson. What's up, brother? Angela Offgrid, thank you for coming in. The chicken lady is in the house. My wife is following after you, by the way. I got to do our chicken video because we have our chickens. We just put them into our pen and got it all cleaned up. Squirrel. So that's one of the guys I was talking about is Jeremy. Jeremy from Living the Dream Offgrid. I got two Jeremys in here. Jeremy Lawson is somebody I grew up with up in Oregon. And then I have Jeremy from Living the Dream Offgrid, Jeremy Jackson. And he is one of the godly conservative men that was up there standing up for what was right and being a real man. And so I'm not going to get emotional about that. It's that's just how I am. That makes a huge difference to me. It's emotional to me when I see men doing what men are supposed to do, what God created men to do, and stand up for what's right, but especially standing up for godly values. And conservative values, in my opinion, they're all very conservative, but conservative values, whether you are a Christian or not, or whether you're a Mormon or you're religious, typically you're going to have conservative values if you're religious. But let me say what this guy said. And his name was, where did he go? Oh, I got a whole bunch of new comments. I didn't even see it. So I'm just going to give you his first name. His name was Jason. And this was a fantastic comment. And like I've always said to everybody, guys, if you have something to say, if you got a comment to say to me, please, by all means, say it. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a civil. If you completely are diametrically opposed to my opinion, if it's politics or religion or whatever, fine. But let's have a conversation about it. Let's be civil. I love debate. I love discussing stuff. And it's frustrating sometimes when you get somebody that's really as hard-headed as I am. But this guy made a fantastic comment, and I don't know much about his beliefs, but he questioned it. I'm going to read you exactly what he said, so I'm not trying to sugarcoat it in any way. He said to me after my post, "Would you still be proud of them if they weren't conservative and didn't follow Jesus?" So that to me, that made me think. Would I still be proud of my kids if they weren't conservative, if they didn't follow Jesus? And I had to stop and think, oh, well, I don't know about that. Would I be? And I'll read you my response to that, because I had to think about it for a second. In light of these riots and looting and everything else, I said, if they were looting and rioting and doing drugs and rejecting Jesus, well, I would feel like I didn't do my job well enough to teach them truth, for one. But there's definitely cases that I know of personally with godly parents, religious parents, and kids chose the other way, rejecting God, or rejecting religion, probably more so the case. They were mostly good kids, and these are personal friends of mine, so I know who they are. I know of this situation personally, and only one of them is kind of following Jesus. The others aren't. One of them, actually, I want to say, is actually has become an atheist. And the Bible does say to bring them up in the way of the Lord, and they will not stray from it. So I had to kind of think about that. In the cases where the kids still seem to choose a well-behaved path, but they haven't chosen to follow Jesus, nevertheless. But they were still brought up in good ways, in righteous ways, conservative ways. I told him I was going to talk about this tonight, so it'd be fantastic if he was actually watching, but I doubt he is, unless he's lurking in there, which would be fantastic. But Jason, if you're watching, thank you for that comment, and thank you for the pushback and for the polite, courteous discussion. So I had to think about that, and I have told my kids, and they're sick of me saying it, over the last. Let's see, Nathan's 20, so he's 2 years into college. Danae's just graduated, 4 years. Probably all throughout their high school years. While Olivia and I still exercise a measure of discipline with our kids, we still demand that a certain level of conduct, we expected that and had to discipline at times when they strayed from that standard of conduct in our home. For the most part, if they weren't pretty well set in who they were, well, not necessarily who they were, in their behavior and their course, so they still made some mistakes through high school, but if they weren't already set in kind of what their beliefs, just kind of a framework, skeleton, a belief system by high school, then I think by then it's pretty much too late, because their peers are talking to them, their other students and their friends, they're more influential than parents. We all know this. All of you guys that have kids that have gone through teenage years, you guys all know this. So I'm preaching to the choir again. So, amen, Ron. That's right. That's right. I love what Trump said last night. They talked about making it a crime to burn the flag. That'll never happen, but that'd be nice. Yeah, where's the respect? Where's the honor? Where's all of that stuff? And so I've had to reflect on my own. Every Father's Day, I reflect on the relationship I have with my own father, which there is not much one anymore these days. We don't talk anymore, and probably won't for a long time, and it's sad. So I have tried to switch that with my kids, and I swore before I ever had kids I was going to be the best father ever, is the best I could possibly be, and correct the mistakes of my father, correct the mistakes of our father's generations. The guys before us, the men before us, they were men, but we all know that our father's generation, many abusive men, they did not know how to be good men. They just knew how to be authoritarian men. That's my father, an authoritarian man. unable to communicate his emotions and feelings and love for us kids to this day. And it's sad because he has lost out completely on a relationship with my sister and I, as well as our kids. So I swore that I would never, ever do that with my kids. And I tell my kids all the time how much I love them. I go out of my way to have conversations with them to the point that they're sick of it. Teaching my kids to, I'm going to get caught up here in just a second. You guys are leaving comments. I love it. I'm going to read them in just a second here. I tell my kids, listen, I'm going to teach you the truth. I'm going to teach you God's word. The God's word is the absolute truth. Those of you that aren't followers of Jesus, that's fine. I'm not talking to you. Well, I hope you hear this. I hope you listen to it. And I have found that the Bible just can't be proved wrong. But that's another live stream. I taught my kids the truth out of the Bible and God's ways and God's 10 commandments and those standards of the Bible. And I said, but do not believe. And I tell them, let's talk about the truth of the Bible. Let's talk about the validity of the Bible for a second. I told them, I'm going to tell you X, Y, and Z why the Bible is true and cannot be proved wrong. But don't take my word for it. You question what I'm telling you. You question that truth and you search for yourself. But don't take my word for it. And I said, you have that critical thinking attitude throughout your life for everything. Politics. So you guys, thankfully, Danae went to a Christian university and she had professors that had a Christian or conservative worldview. Thank the Lord. Because we know our university, our liberal university system is just completely overrun with liberals and leftists. That's why we have all these kids running out in the street rioting and looting. So thankfully but Nathan definitely had some teachers, but thankfully he had an awesome foundation so that when he was exposed to that and he was challenged and had teachers just outright viciously anti-Christ, anti-Jesus, he was prepared for it. An anti-conservative especially. So I told him, you guys have to have a critical mind. And I said, Danae, we'll talk about the whole vaccine thing. And I started trying to tell her about vaccines right in the middle of her, right in the middle of her teaching and learning about vaccines. And she's like, Dad, are you an anti-vaxxer? I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm anti-government control. So there's another rabbit hole we won't go down tonight. But I said, listen, Danae, I'm not going to try and convince you, but I'm going to try and open your eyes to that. I want you to have a critical mind and think about what they're telling you, that not all vaccines are good. We all know this in light of everything that's happened. And she has since broadened her mind and educated herself and realized, oh, so even though she's learning how to be, she was taught and took courses on healthcare and everything else, that science is not perfect yet. They don't know everything about science. They don't know everything about the human body. They don't know everything about the vaccine. They don't know anything about freaking this thing, the red dragon. And it changes every day. So I said, if that's not proof enough that they don't know, that these professionals that have been doing it for 30, 40 years don't know what they're talking about. So that teaching my kids to have a critical mind and critical thinking was absolutely vital to what I felt being a good father was all about. So let me get caught up with your comments. I know there's a bunch of them down here. So Gil, you said, yep. Amen, Gil. Your daughter re-registered as a Republican. That is fantastic. I love it. That's a great story. Lori Jean, okay. Fantastic. Thank you, Lori Jean. Whenever. Hey, Jeremy, you saw my shirt. I know I'm way behind. I know that I'm way behind. I'm just now reading the comments, so don't bash me. There's no squirrel here. I was on a rant. You had to be patient. Speaking your truth, I believe it. Fantastic, Patty. That's a great point. And that so I'm going to stop reading. Agreed with the above. Olivia's agreeing with you, Jeremy. Jeremy, we still need to do dinner. I grew up with Jeremy Lawson. Hey, Jeremy Lawson, by the way, Jeremy from Living the Dream Off Grid, Jeremy Jackson, he grew up in Springfield. So Jeremy, meet Jeremy. Jeremy Lawson is a guy I grew up with all the way through 4th and 5th grade, almost 5th grade in Eugene. And now Jeremy Lawson and I are both down here. But Jeremy Lawson, you know, I'm moving to Idaho to be with Jeremy Jackson. So, okay, that was a weird tangent. Back to Patty's comment. You know what? You know what, Patty, and it's you bolstered my point. Is I had to kind of backtrack off of my thoughts that you know, I'm especially proud of my kids. Because they're hitting on everything. You know, yes, they're conservative. They do follow Jesus. Thank the Lord. But I think we definitely can be proud of our kids if they are good people. But let's take a look at the mayor of New York City, de Blasio. Everybody saw the picture of his daughter. She got arrested for breaking windows and looting. Woo, what a gem. Oh, he's proud of her. Oh, more power to you, buddy. Right on. I can't say I would be proud of my kid if they were. I absolutely would not be proud of my kids if they got arrested for looting or doing time for drugs or whatnot. If they were good, upstanding people, I mean, hallelujah. Then the good moral standards that they heard from me out of the Bible and everything, those stuck. Like my friend with all their kids, are good, upstanding, good kids. But they're not necessarily following Jesus. They're still proud of their kids, and I could still be proud of my kids too. So absolutely, Patty, thank you for that. That's a very good differentiation, Gil. I like that. Loving your kids is one thing, but being proud of what they do is another thing. Absolutely. And Ron, I was dying to see what you were going to say here. You still coming around. You know what? That's good. That's great. There's hope in that. Ron, send him to Dan Bongino. You know how I got really conservative was I hate, you guys are probably going to hate me for saying this, or some of you might, but listening to Rush Limbaugh. I started listening to him 25 years ago, and he started opening my eyes to a lot of the bigger picture with government and politics and stuff. And as much as I don't, and he says he believes in God, and hopefully he does. Hopefully he's saved because he's got stage 4 lung cancer. So, but a whole generation of ditto heads with that guy. It would be hard to be a parent with Christian conservative values that train their child in the way they should go, and the child decided to join the extremists. Yes, absolutely, Anna. Absolutely. So my friend, they have one child that is pretty much atheist, but she's a well-behaved child. So she hasn't strayed from the ways of her upbringing, but she just doesn't want to believe in God. And I wonder if a lot of that is the fault of the church. I've talked about the fault of the church and how the church has lost so many people these days. Like Chris from Single Dad Homestead, and you know, you guys doing your Sunday morning services. How many people are tuning into that and doing church in the community here online? And that's fantastic. If you're doing community with people here, then the church has got to serve others. We're here to serve others, and that's my whole deal with government. It's not the government's job to take care of the homeless, the widow, whatnot. It's the church's job. It is our job. Jesus commanded that. If we're not doing it, we're not being the church. So there's my political rant for the night. Yeah, so slowly seeing the light. And you know what's fantastic about seeing the light? You guys have all made a couple of similar comments that these leftists, I won't even call them liberals. They're hardcore leftists. These are anarchists, and they call themselves anti-fascists. Bull crap. They're fascists. Plain and simple, and they're being paid by we all know this. It's obvious. They want to take down our country and change our way of life. So it's interesting that people with a liberal leaning are watching this stuff. They're saying that libertarians are going to be voting for Trump in mass this year, that a lot of liberals that are Democrats have changed, not only just changed parties, but they're going to be voting for Trump because they don't see that there's any Democrat party left anymore. It has been completely hijacked by these hardcore leftists. They're not even Democrat party anymore. It is a socialist party. It's socialists and Republicans, or socialists and conservatives. So anyway, guys, I just had to share that, you know, and we are so, as men, we cannot shy away from what we believe in, and we have to stand up for it. we got 30 people screaming and yelling at us, telling us that we're scumbags, that we're racist, that we're religious zealots, whatever the case may be. We have to stand on principle, and it takes a real man to do that. And so much of the masculinity in our society has been just wiped away, and it's been challenged. The breakdown of the family, it's no longer. No, I'm not going to go there. You got to keep loving your kids no matter what they do. And hopefully you can bring them around, and hopefully they'll see the light at some point. I know it took me a number of years through college before I really gave my life to Christ. And I had to go, because of the situation with my father, I saw God that way. I saw God as an authoritarian disciplinarian that didn't really love me. And so when I went to college, I tried to be good, but man, I couldn't do it on my own. I just couldn't do it. I finally at some point got so frustrated with trying to be good and warring against my flesh. I finally said, enough. I'm giving into it. And I gave into the partying. And I did some pretty hardcore partying for a little while, a short stint. And one night I didn't think I was going to wake up because I felt like I was so high on drugs that I thought I wasn't going to wake up. And so I said, okay, God, if I wake up tomorrow morning and I'm alive, I'm going to cold turkey quit all this, and I'm going to turn my life completely over to you. I did that. My life's never been the same. God healed me, and I realized what God's grace was all about. That there's nothing that we can do, no matter how good we are, that we cannot ever make it to heaven. That there's a lot of people that say, yeah, I'm good enough to get to heaven. And I say, well, here's a great analogy, and it was actually in today's sermon, Pastor Hibbs, in halfway through. But he had a great analogy. He had spoken with this Russian family, and he was talking to this Russian guy. He was over there doing some ministry in Russia, and the guy invited him to his house. So Pastor Hibbs went over to the house and had dinner with the guy, and the pastor and the guy told Pastor Hibbs, and he's in the real thick Russian accent, and he says, yes, this Jesus, he's good for my wife, and he's good for my daughter. Yes, my wife especially, she needs Jesus. Jesus is good for her. But I don't think I need Jesus. Why do I need Jesus? I'm a very good man. So Pastor Jack, and he brought this analogy out, and I thought this was fantastic. And he says, here's a glass of water. And he didn't have any, obviously, cyanide on him, but he said, this lemon right here, let's just pretend that this lemon is cyanide. So he says, here's a nice, clean, crisp, clear glass of water. And he goes, I'm going to put 4 drops of lemon with cyanide in this water. And he hands his, you going to drink this? He goes, no way. What if I put 2 drops in? No way. Then what if I put 1 drop, 1 tiny little drop of cyanide in this nice big tall glass of water? Would you drink it? No. It's poison. I'd never drink it. It'd kill me. He said, that's exactly right. What do we think as mere humans? Because God cannot be anywhere near sin of any level. God is absolutely pure and holy. He cannot have sin. It's completely illogical. Well, that's the logic side of me. God cannot tolerate sin anyway. And if there's one tiny, tiny little bit of sin in somebody, that person cannot be near God. And so the whole point is that we can never be good enough to get to heaven. And that's what the cross is all about. I didn't mean to start preaching, guys. That analogy just struck me. And thankfully, our kids will see that. If our kids see it, it took me a number of years to realize that. It took me feeling like I was going to die before I understood what God's grace was all about, that he died on the cross for me, that no matter how good I was, I couldn't do it on my own, that only through the cross am I saved. So as a father, I'm very, very blessed. I'm very glad that both of them have come to know Jesus. And I hope for your kids that don't believe as well that they do come to know Jesus, because that's the hope that we have, that we're going to be in heaven someday. We're going to see everybody. My son just talked about a friend of his from work whose dad dropped dead yesterday. They don't know what from. but just fell over. They came home and he was lying dead on the ground in their house when they came home yesterday. Horrible day for them, right before Father's Day. And it breaks my heart. And I said, well, were they saved? And he said, I think they were. I think they're Christians. He didn't know him that well, but he was somebody he worked with, you know. And I think, that's the hope that we have, that someday we're going to be able to spend eternity with each other in heaven. That is the hope that we have, that this is only temporary, that whether we die right now, if I die tomorrow from a heart attack before I ever get to move to Idaho. So there, guys, there's the rant for the night. I thank you for listening to all that. You got to keep loving your kids. You hope that they're going to see the truth sooner or later. You do. You have to keep living. You still have to keep loving them. Lots and lots of love. Thank you, Kathy, for that. Medicine is a practice. It's not a cure. Oh my gosh, I am so far behind in comments, you guys. Like the bar is halfway up the screen. Amen, Patty. Medicine is a practice and it's not a cure. We're still learning. It's called the practice of medicine. Amen. Right on. Man, we're all firing on the same, all pistons tonight, guys. Definitely preaching to the choir here. Oh, Ron, I'm so sorry for your Obama voting parents. Just kidding. I totally get it. I see it. I know a lot of Christians that voted for Obama just because they weren't critically thinking about the situation. They weren't investigating Obama before they voted for him. They were placating their white guilt. I said it. There you go. Santa Clara Church, Jeremy. That's right. Jeremy Lawson from in Portland. Yep. Oh, you just lived there for a bit. Oh, man, that's how far behind I am, Jeremy. I just saw it. You didn't grow up in. Okay, you lived there. That's right. Okay. All righty. Thank you, Kathy. The mod. Well, we were going to call her Mod God, but she didn't like that because Kathy she believes in God as well. So we're calling Kathy the Mod Master. I agree, Ron. We got to learn the facts about the vaccines and make your own decision. You know what? Polio. My grandfather had polio, and he was crippled. He had braces he had to wear since a kid, and he passed away with braces on from polio. The polio vaccine was developed using non-human cells. I believe they were not cloned. They were developed from sheep, I believe, sheep cells. Anyway, I believe 100% in the polio vaccine, as well as the mumps vaccine. Is there a mumps vaccine? Anyway, you guys can all tell me that. Anyway, there's a lot of vaccines that our generation grew up with, but none of this Bill Gates crap. Let's see here. I'm catching up. I'm catching up, guys. Here it is. Thank you, Kathy. Yes, the Idaho meetup, 9 a.m. for the creators, and it's 12 p.m. We're going to have regular people, subscribers, and fans come in at noon. So that way they can eat off that truck as well. So, yeah, Dan Bongino is the bomb, you guys. What's up, Chad? Maynard's in the house. That's how far behind I am. I just now saw that you came in the chat, Chad. Sorry about that. Thank you, Gil. Yes, give me a thumbs up, guys, if you guys like it. If this is a good conversation. Oh, yeah, Patty. Patty, I so hope that you can get out of Portland sometime soon. Oh, my goodness. I hope you can. Yes, Portland is. L Floors Journey, how you doing, brother? Thank you for coming in. Absolutely, Patty. We're drawn to and you know what? God has done a work in my heart because I had to fight the authoritarian, angry man that my father was. I had to fight that in myself. And my grandfather apparently was way worse than my father. He's told me stories. And so we all have to break the cycle of generational sin. Do we not? So I constantly fight with my temper, and I have a fireball, I have a little jalapeno. She's not listening anymore. She's on the phone with her sister, so I can say this and I won't get in trouble. She's a jalapeno. She's a little fireball. Ooh, those Hispanics, ooh, most of them got tempers, especially the women. Little butting of heads there. I have, we have both grown. I'll say we have both grown and learned how to be better people and to be patient with another and to control. And 27 years this November, guys, so must be doing something right. Okay, Tim Fergal, what's happening, brother? I agree, Tim. I hope that these anarchist people, I hope they do. I know you've said that on a couple times. I agree. I hope that they find these people and they go to jail. It's just horrible. So our God is sovereign, Jeremy. You're absolutely right. Jeremy is still in here. All right, Anna, thank you so much. You probably not even going to hear me say goodnight. Thank you for coming in, Anna. I'm so glad. Anna, by the way, everybody, if you guys weren't unaware, Anna and her husband Terry from Mimsy's Garden both had the red dragon. It was bad for them for a few days, and they're finally back on the mend. They're feeling a lot better. So we are glad. God is good. So how's the pocket chicken doing? I love it. So oh my gosh, Gil, that's crazy. He passed on Father's Day. That is absolutely crazy. That's how far behind him. I'm catching up. God's the one that puts men in office, does that for his purposes. We forget this truth. Amen. It's going to be interesting to see what happens this November, right? On November 3rd, Patty? Absolutely. I can't wait to see what God does here. Is God going to extend some protection and some time of peace and prosperity to our country for 4 more years? Excuse me. We know that that's going to that will happen under Trump, with all of that his administration's policies and stuff. We know that's going to happen. So, and you know what, Patty? It's funny that you brought that up. I'm gonna dive into that little squirrel that you threw out there. Thank you for that. Romans 13:1, talking about obeying the rulers and the authorities, and we have stopped going to a church that that Olivia and I actually met each other, got married at, and had our kids, and spent 15 years, 20 years at, and we stopped going there because they had taken away a lot of the kids programs, and our kids at the time went into junior high and high school. And they had some great junior high and high school programs at another church, so we went there for the kids. And then once they got out into college, they didn't have a good college group, but the original one where Olivia and I met in the college group still had a great college group, so we went back. But recently, they are still not open. They are still shut down. As much as we can agree or disagree on that, the church that we've been attending recently has been opening up and trusting that God is going to protect us, and that we are going to trust God in his provision, as well as being safe and hand sanitizer and all that good stuff. But our church has said, the church that we were going to basically has said they were not going to open up until they could do so completely free of any kind of restrictions of any kind, which with the governor of this state in California just issued 3 or 4 days ago a statewide mandatory mask wearing thing unless you're exercising. If you're outside, you got to wear a mask unless you're exercising, or you have a health issue, or there's only a couple other exceptions. And so with this governor that we have in the state continuing to put these crazy edicts out there, it could be the end of the year before that church meets again in person. So we're like, and people want to see each other. They want to be around each other. They want to worship side by side. They want to, well, at least fist bump, right? And see each other. But people want to serve. And the pastor today, and that was a third point that I kind of wanted to touch on tonight, was that the pastor made this point about churches opening up. But the people that are breaking down the doors of the churches are especially the ones that want to serve. The churches that don't open up, the pastors and those people that in those churches, they're feeling like they're being used and they're serving God and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing by teaching and preaching on the internet. But the people are sitting at home picking their nose and just watching. They can't serve. So the people that are breaking down the doors to the churches are the ones that want to get out and serve and help other people with the traffic or communion or homeless or whatever. And that's what it's about. That's what the church is here to do. Our church is here to serve. So I really think this whole shutdown is a demonic ploy to keep good, godly Christian people from serving, from helping other people out. So that was the other today's service. If you guys really want to see a fantastic message today from Pastor Jack Hibbs from Chino Hills, Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills, go watch today's message and you'll get blown away. I've talked about 3 things. I showed a video and a couple other things that he talked about in the service today. That's how unbelievably moved I was by what he had to say today. It was just amazing. So We need to pray for the anarchists to come to Christ. Yeah, absolutely. That's the only thing that's going to save anybody. Wow. They disbanded. That's crazy, Patty. I can see that happening. Patty said their church is disbanded. That was the final death toll, the final nail in the coffin for the church you've been going to. That's sad. Amen, Jeremy. I'm rebellious too. The governor can kiss my hairy fat toe. Oh, thank you, honey, for the thumbs up.
I know, I totally forgot if it wasn't for Gil.
You believe my own wife didn't give me a thumbs up? Wow. Wow, no pastor since June. Well, guys, I had some another fun little tidbit tonight that I have a friend of mine I went to college with I went to Pacific Christian College. It was my first year in college, and I went to school with this guy. Played soccer with him. Fantastic guy. I think I already told you guys in the beginning of the live stream. They're talking about moving to North Idaho. The guy's forgotten more about the Bible than I'll ever know, and just a fantastic. His wife's an RN. She's applying for nursing positions in Coeur d'Alene and Sandpoint, as well as Spokane, as we speak. So I told him, I said, well, if you guys need a place to stay, I'm not going to be in mine for a while. That might work out. So that'll be kind of fun. So guys, you guys have any other questions, any other comments? I think I hit everybody's comment. I don't think I missed anybody's comment. I was a little behind on it tonight, but if you guys liked that, leave me a comment. Wow, look at you go, honey. Wow.
I have a computer.
Oh, wait a minute. I need to make you a moderator. Oh, I can't do that.
I am.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I'm on StreamYard, so I can't see who's a moderator, who's not a moderator. Let me do that. Okay, let me do this. There we go. Okay. All right, cool. Now I can see. Oh, you are a moderator. Okay, I thought I made you a moderator. That is great news, Gil. That is fantastic. A limit of 100. Okay, so you guys are still kind of. So it's funny that you said they're going to start back up with a limit. So they're going to try and still somewhat follow the social distancing guidelines on from what the Governor Little, is that the governor of Idaho, the one that everybody's trying to recall. So at our meetup next Saturday, there's going to be a group of people there signing with petitions for all of us to sign to recall Governor Little at our meetup. I can't wait. I said, well, I need to register to vote in Idaho. So she goes, well, I'll bring you a registration form. I'm like, right on. So thank you, Kathy, for coming in. There's my sister. You are so late.
No, she was there earlier.
She was?
Yeah, at the very beginning.
No way.
Yep.
Oh boy, I'm in trouble now.
Yeah, you are.
I didn't even see it. Was I on my rant?
Most likely. Thank
you, Kathy, for all that you do. I totally understand and respect that Elf Lord's journey. If you have underlying conditions, and that's what it seems to be, is it seems to be affecting people that had underlying conditions of some sort. Absolutely, by all means, stay home. Stay home until we get through this. Absolutely. Yes, I already signed the petition to recall Governor Nuisance. Thank you, Ron. Thank you for coming in. Happy Father's Day to you. Love it. Love it. What did I say? What did I say, Patty, that was funny so I can say it again? Governor Screwsome? Governor Gruesome? Screwsome Gruesome? Well, you know what? You girls got to stick together. I don't know what to tell you, Christy. Okay, Gil. There's no need for you to, you know what? There's no need for you to pile on with my wife. She's a handful as it is already. She doesn't need any help from you. Yeah, we were watching online services. I've been watching Pastor Jack Hibbs on YouTube. Well, we started watching him as a family since March. I started showing it, but I have been watching him for over a year with Amir Sarfati and watching, because he does a lot of the end times eschatology and end times prophecy stuff and the conferences and all kinds of good stuff. So That's where I've been watching him. But anyway, great stuff, you guys. Did you guys all have a good Father's Day? We had ribs, man. I don't know if any, Patty, I don't know if you saw my video on Instagram. I just had to share it. I had to rub it in. We like to boil our ribs. Here's a good rib recipe for you guys. And by the way, hey, all of you canners out there, Patty, if you, I know you can. I just dropped a video today about making applesauce. Tell me what you think of it. Tell me if you've got any other caveats or something different. You can fast forward, Patty, to like the 3/4 mark. We're actually making the applesauce. But tell me what you think of my food mill, if you would. That's right. That's all right, Gil. Yeah, it was a real basic recipe. Absolutely, Jeremy. Did you text me? You texted me offline? I don't have a text from you, Jeremy Lawson. Oh, here's a good one, guys. How many of you guys know who Robert Draper is? Anybody know who Robert Draper, Donald Draper? Oh, you said you will. Okay. I did not. Look at you. You said you said I will. I will texted you. Who learned you to spoke? If your lovely wife Kelly was on here, she would have written it. She would have wrote it better. I got to give Jeremy a hard time. Anybody know who Ronald Draper or Donald Draper is? Let me, just for fun. So I figured out how to. Let me look at. Here we go. Oh, I see. Okay. I've got it. I'm still figuring out the StreamYard, guys. Let me see if I can find Robert Draper here for you guys. Robert Draper. Where did he go? Nope, that's not the. There we go. Let's try this. There he is. So any of you guys up in Idaho know who Donald Draper is? I'm going to play this video for you guys. Okay, cool. I'm going to play it. If you guys tell me who you think this is. Okay, here we go. Add to stream. Oh, there he is. So I'm not going to play the sound because he does use some foul language in there, unfortunately. But no, it's not like Who's John Galt. This is a real guy. This is the guy right here, guys. This is Donald Draper. He is a hardcore, outspoken, obviously African-American man, and he's conservative. And this is the video that was making it's made its rounds all over the internet and Facebook and everything else. This exact video right here. He goes off on what happened in Sandpoint with the BLM in Sandpoint. So if you guys get a chance to watch this video, the name of this channel is Steve Wasilko. But look up Donald Draper, not Robert Draper. His real name is Ronald Draper. Robert Rosenderry, aka Donald Draper. This guy was fantastic. He might be at our meetup on Saturday. There's the news for you guys. This guy is awesome. I'm gonna say if this guy shows up at our meetup on Saturday, I'm gonna say he's gonna steal the show, and that's okay. I really don't want the spotlight, but this guy will steal the show. He is fantastic. You guys get a chance to watch this guy. He destroys BLM. And this is the guy that actually walked from Santa Maria. No, not Santa Maria. Anyway, he walked from the West Coast to the East Coast to Washington, D.C. for the Million Man March. This guy walked coast to coast. This guy's legit, and he might be at our meetup. So I'm hoping that's, I don't know how I'm going to advertise that, but I don't know for sure if he's going to be there. So that's the problem, is I don't know for sure. So if this guy shows up, it's going to be a crazy, crazy time. We will live stream the heck out of that on Saturday. Not sure what time he'll show up, if he'll be there all day or just for a little bit or what. But anyway, there you go. So check that out, guys. Go check out that guy on YouTube. All right. Well, guys, thank you very much, everybody, for joining tonight. You guys have been fantastic. I can't wait for next Saturday. It's going to be fantastic. We'll bring it to you live on Saturday and let you guys know how it's all going. And you guys can join in that can't join, like Gil. I'm sure you'll probably want to peek in a little bit. We're going to have breakfast at 9 o'clock in the morning with a bunch of the channels that are going to show up at the Poor Boy Cafe. And then thank you, Patty, for coming in tonight. I love having you in here all the time. You always back me up all the time. I love it. So then we're gonna show up at the park probably around 10 o'clock or so, and then about noon is when we've invited. I push it on like 20 different Facebook pages, so hopefully we get a nice big crowd of people that want to come and hang out with some YouTubers and meet and greet. So guys, thank you so much for coming in. I will see you guys in your live streams here and there. Gil, maybe on your Tuesday. I'm not sure when Anna has hers. I know she had to take off, but Ron, if you do another live, I know you had to take off again, but if you do one, I'll pop in there tonight. So thank you guys. You guys have a fantastic evening. Thank you, everybody, for showing up, and we'll see you guys next week on next Saturday. Good night, everybody.